exactly you should be able to. Okay. So what's up, guys? How so tell me, what are your plans for the year? Just, type in the chat section. What are your plans for the year? What targets have you set personally for yourself? What are you aiming to achieve in the trading space this year? And not just trading. This year we're going to be doing a lot more than just trading. We're going to be talking about the finance world as a whole. We're going to be looking at stocks, bonds, treasury bills, forex, crypto. I'm not just putting you guys on forex only this year. I'm looking for opportunities to help you guys understand the finance world better and properly. As much as I'm growing, I also want to be growing with you guys. So tell me, what are your plans like? Put them in the chat section while I'm trying to get this whole thing sorted out. Because I'm trying to see I try to see our charts too as well. Okay. Um, okay, so probably what I'll do is let me go double screen, okay? Let me go double screen. Okay, someone said they want to build equity. I mean, that's a good plan too. I mean, equity is the father of all investments. Without equity, you won't be able to achieve as much. Yeah. Okay. So okay, yeah, that's way better. Last year I fumbled the bag a lot. I mean, we all do fumble the bag. It's just one of those things, yeah, that we normally would do. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to the finance world, you're going to make losses. You're going to make profits. You're going to make losses. Yeah, it's just about how you manage it. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So my mouse is connected. So let's use the dual screen. Okay. Because of my impatience, was it really impatience, or was it just, or did you just feel like there was something you were missing out? There was something you were not doing right. Sometimes it could be that you're not doing something right. It's not always about impatience. I don't know. Sometimes it's impatience. Sometimes it's not always about impatience. Sometimes it's just about psychology, which is fair, which is fair game. Yeah. And when we look at psychology too, we need to look at psychology from a point where we're like, is it just psychology, or were we not just on the right pace, or did we not just have a good plan? Because when you have a good plan, yeah, one of the things that comes naturally when you have a good plan is persistence. When you have a good plan, yeah, you're staying persistent. You just try to keep doing what you need to do, and you want to grow while you're doing it. Okay. Someone said grow my FX account, study about bonds, continue increasing my mutual fund investment. Now that's good business there. That's good business there. So someone is already talking about mutual funds investment. That's good business there. Like that's exactly what we're talking about this year. Because a lot of people just want to make it through trading alone. And really that's not how we're going to build the game this year. Like you need to be able to create wealth from different avenues. I mean, at the end of the day, trading is going to be that one thing that is going to give you the ability to generate that source. Yeah, but you want something bigger than that. You want something that is going to keep investment. So what we're trying to do this year is build investments, build cash flow, and build income sources. Yeah. And when we're building income sources, we want something that we don't really entirely have to, what do you call it, depend fully on trading. Trading is going to be like a big sum of it, but then we want the money to come in from other places as well. So what's up? Anybody thinking about prop firms this year? Are we thinking about prop firms? Are we thinking about prop firms this year? So the chart I have on right now, yeah. If you can see, I have on USD card. So this was one of the few pairs that I was looking at over the weekend. Because when I came back to the chart, I'm not even going to lie. When you leave the chart for a long period of time, sometimes when you come back, you have to like sit down and readjust. You kind of have to recollect your knowledge and your information. I mean, clearly see the obvious things on the chart. I can see the structure, I can see the key levels, but then we all know that market conditions this year are a bit tricky. So what I mean by the market conditions are tricky this year is with everything happening fundamentally or socioeconomically, we see the whole invasion of Venezuela. We see that the world right now is in a battle for resources. We've seen the AI age and people building AI data centers. We see people also building, energy sources for these data centers. Yeah. We need countries now need to gather enough resources to be leading. Yeah. So a lot of what we're going to be seeing is wars, takeovers, a lot of deals as well. So this year, you're going to see a lot happen with oil, natural gases, minerals. So you're going to be seeing if you're one of those people that play on your charts, yeah, and you look at things like WTI, natural gases, you look at oil, you look at stocks, and when we're looking at stocks, we're going to be looking at a lot of energy stocks. We're going to look at a lot of energy stocks, and another thing we're also going to be paying attention to is people who are building energy plants, especially nuclear energy plants, because oil is going to become very scarce. So people would want to be diving into nuclear energy as well. So all these things are things that is going to be moving the market conditions this year. Sorry, my eyes a bit itchy. I need to book an appointment to see the ophthalmologist very soon. Yeah. So these things are what are going to be moving the market. But that being said, for the sake of forex, we have USD card this morning, and when we see USD card, so let me just increase my font size here a bit so you can see clearly too as well. Okay, so when I'm viewing USD card, first things I noticed was I'm a higher time frame person, so I always like to go to the higher time frame. We see on the higher time frame that the USD card has been bullish, but has also maintained this yearly highs. This high was from 2015, I believe, and it also respected in 2025, and prices pulled back down. And when you look at the comeback um for the USD card, look at the comeback from the USD card, we noticed that prices just only came back into a very good demand level and started to push back up. So we're going to be experiencing a very bullish USD card this year if the USD stays stronger. So the USD has to stay stronger for us to experience it. And when we move to like the daily time frame where we can see like our day trading structure, yeah, we see that prices is coming from this bullish break here and is back into fair values. Yeah, so the structure move is completed here. So we're moving back to the upside. What I mean here is you see that prices left this inefficiency here at this point in time. We had this rest of liquidity here that was never taken. It was just an accumulation of liquidity at this point. We've taken out the structure here. We've taken out the daily structure here. Okay, we have changed that daily structure there. We've broken out of the bearish structure into the bullish point, and then prices have finally come back to take it from where the demand started. Guys, so sorry about that. Yep. Okay, so yeah, back to what we were saying. So when you look at the return from this demand, usually it's demand to change of character, from change of character back into liquidity to confirm the new structure, which has happened here. So now we're bullish here. So what we want to do now is we want to then take, sorry, let me move that away from my body. So now I want to take this move here, okay? I want to take this move here and recreate what has happened here on the higher time frame. That's the whole essence of why price is fractal. So when you come back here again, you see we had this bearish move, then we had this huge move from the demand, or which is this fair value here that prices reacted off from to confirm the new bullish move after this correction here. This was also a correction. So if you look closely, you continue to see the the recreation of this whole price movement here, here, sorry, here. Now we're also going to see it here. So this is what that whole price being fractal means. What happens on the higher time frame happens on the time frame before it, then happens on the time frame after it again. So let's take rid of those illustrations. So now let's go to the 4 hourly time frame. So what we're going to do on the 4 hourly time frame now is we're going to look for something similar. Yeah. So we have here, we have this structural low here, and we have the structural high here. Okay, so this was where prices broke the structure from. This was where the break of the structure happened from. So when we zoom in, we can easily identify where the demand that took out this highs came from. And then we have it here. So this was the demand that took out where this highs came from, right? Now we have the liquidity resting before that area of demand or before that other block, which is here. So we're going to be looking for opportunities to actually to take the buys from this region. Now, if you're one of those persons that use weeks to identify break, I usually am not that person. Then would also be just to put into consideration, yeah, we can also be factoring this level into it here as well. But why I wouldn't be factoring this level into it completely is I can clearly see that prices came back to mitigate this block here with this red candle. It taps this red candle, but this is the only place that I've not seen any, bearish candlestick come back to mitigate. So I'll be picking this over this, but just for, like my friend would say, posterity's sake, we'll leave this here. Okay, so now we're looking for two things to happen. First, I was expecting prices to pull all the way, to buy all the way into this key level here before coming back down. So this would serve as a mid-term or short-term correction for prices to move to the upside, to continue to move to the upside for the USD card. Now, when you look here on the higher time frame, you see that this is a very good key level. Yeah, so we had prices act as a resistance, act as a support, prices broke through it and reclaimed it as a support level again. Okay, and also as a support turn into resistance level too as well. So I was hoping the prices would go into this level before coming all the way back down here and move. But we might see the reverse, if at all. At the end of the day, it's just looking at prices. So if prices should come from here, back here, then we're going to get something of this sort and then use here as a short support and then break above. Or prices just moves to the upside and then comes back down before moving back to the upside. So those are the two scenarios that I'm expecting on USD card. Now, if I want to understand, yeah, what is going to be the case in this scenario, on what mountain would I be standing? I would then go to a lower time frame. So on the lower time frame, there's still structure on the lower time frame. Okay, so the structure on the lower time frame, so far so good here, has been bullish. If for any reason this current bearish move, for instance, now should take out these lows here, okay, we take out these lows here, okay, on this 15 minutes or 30 minutes bullish structure. So say prices breaks below these lows here and pulls back and fails to break above these highs here again, then I would now be able to say, okay, I would be taking possible shots here. Why? Because we've invalidated the smaller time frame structure. So all I need would be a reconfirmation of the bears back into the market. I would have my stops above here and then watch for prices to sell back into this level. If only we can break below the structure. Why? Because we can see higher lows, higher lows, higher lows, higher lows. And this is all prices have been making to the upside. And we see higher highs, higher highs, higher highs. So if higher high creates higher low, if higher high creates a lower low and creates a lower high, then it means that we've started to move bearish. So even when we move to this point here, I would go to a smaller time frame, probably let's say the 5 minutes time frame. When I come to the 5 minutes time frame, I want to see the same thing. I want to see change in that character, yeah, I want to see that change in that character on the lower time frame, probably like the 3 minutes time frame. And then I want to make the entry. Why? That would give me confirmation of this zone here, okay, of this area, this whole area here, like this. That will give me a confirmation of that whole area to actually take the cells. And then I can take the cells, have my stops just above here, okay, which would give me a very good risk to reward ratio. So my risk to reward ratio on this trade would probably be probably like a one, probably like a one to five, okay, or a 1 to 4. So I probably will be risking, let me see, from if I take the trade at this level here, my stops will be at 139,300. That's about 30 pips. And my TP is about 13770. So that's about 30 pips to target 90 pips, which is a good risk to reward ratio. That's a 1 to 3. Yeah, so that is a possibility of what's going to happen. But I'll only be taking this trade if the smaller time frame structure has been invalidated. So for now, we need to wait for an invalidation in order for us to what to align. So let me take away this sketches, okay? So it doesn't leave my chart mercy. Okay. So in order for us to align with this 4 hour idea that okay, prices might just continue to sell off down. The only way prices will continue to sell off down is if we take out these lows and then watch prices actually create the new lower time frame structure back to the downside. If that doesn't happen, then there's no buys at all. But if prices stops here and continues to move forward, then I'm just going to watch, hold my hands and sit on them and wait till I see prices to what move to the upside before coming back to the downside. Then this is where I will then be looking for what? Be looking for that change, okay, of character or that shift in the market to actually come back down here before I look for the continuous long term. Because overall on the higher time frame, we see that the USD card is extremely bullish. Yeah. So that's just what it's going to be like on USD card. If you have questions, please drop your questions in the top chat. And if you've been following and you understand what I'm saying, just so you understand in the chat. Or how did this streamers, how did they say it now? Yeah, leave W's in the chat if you're understanding. But yeah, so don't mind me, guys. It's not like I'm that old. I just like to behave like an old man. But yeah, W's in the chat if you're understanding and you're following. Thank you, guys. If you're just joining, please don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button. Don't forget to recommend to your friends or anybody. This is something that we're going to be consistently doing. Very soon, we're going to be doing it on my streaming deck. I think it's way better than the YouTube platform for me. So we're going to be streaming YouTube, TikTok, so wherever you are. And for the TikTok streaming, we're going to be doing like live classes for people who don't know anything about trading. So every week is going to be a new topic. We're going to start from like the beginner series into the intermediate series. So for people to enjoy and understand, how trading goes, and then they can make their own informed decisions and everything. But for now, let's focus on what we know how to do best for those people who are already traders. Then we have aha. So it already happened, and it's quite sad because I don't know if you guys go back to watch my analysis with Valetax. I gave out this analysis this morning that we're going to have a break of the new all-time highs on the XAU USD. So let me pull that up here. Let me pull that up for you guys. Okay, so all you have to do is just go to YouTube, type Valetax, okay, and just type Valetax broker. And when you come to Valetax broker, just click on the main Valetax page. Okay, click on the main Valetax page. Um, you can look for the weekly market outlook sessions, yeah. And I doubt you guys will be able to hear, but I gave the analysis on gold. Can you see it? You just need to always make sure that every Monday morning, this should be like the first thing you're doing. Yeah. Let's make this clearer so we can see it. Okay. And it's always in HD. Yeah. So we had the XAUSD. So I was expecting this break to happen this morning, and that happened. So always do your best to, when you wake up on Monday morning, just head to the Valetax page and just watch my analysis outlook. It can give you like a very beautiful idea on how to attack even the London session or the Asian session. Okay, so that would really help you as well as a trader. So yeah, XAUSD is already happening. So I'll be expecting to see prices continue to rally to the upside. I'm expecting to see 5,000 on gold before January ends. That is if it doesn't do it this week. But that was my expected target for gold, 5,000 before January ends. So if we continue to see more, what's the word? If we continue to see more uncertainty with the whole socioeconomic crisis happening right now, and wars and threats and all of those things, gold will continue to surge higher, and we'll continue to see a decline of the US oil. Okay, so let's look at the why we call it US oil. Basically, it's just the oil reserves. Yeah, so we'd see oil reserves hit lows. Why? Because of everything happening. But we'll start to get demand come back into the market eventually, just not immediately. When it becomes very scarce and people start to struggle for this oil, demand would increase. So right now, a lot of people are panicking, so the sales are happening. When demand comes back in, we're going to see, yes, yes, the analysis is there every Monday, every Monday, every Monday. You'd always get analysis from Valetax, and don't forget to also trade with Valetax as well. Okay, so uh, so here, so this is US oil. You can see how choppy the US oil chart has been for a very long time. So this was already showing inconsistencies and a lot of issues there. But we're going to continue to see a decline on the US oil. I'm watching to see probably we're going to come all the way to about $35 per barrel for oil. Yeah. So if you look at if you use the UK oil chart too, if you use the Brent futures too, you're going to see it's the same thing. So I'm looking about 35 $40 per barrel is where I am seeing oil prices go to. And then when we get to that point, then we're going to see once the demand comes into the market, for that we're going to shoot all the way back up to about $75 per barrel. That's like my base outlook. Yeah, I've not done like a very deep what should I call it, a very deep technical analysis chart outline for you guys, but I will try to do that tonight. I've just been a bit busy with other things, but that's my outlook. I'm sure we're going to see lesser. I'm looking at $45 per barrel. That should bring us back to about 4 years low or 5 years low. That was November 2020. Yeah, just right after the pandemic. So we might get all the way back to this level. And you see, there is an evident demand area here. So this is where I'm expecting that demand to come from. But for now, we're going to see that gradual decline, yeah, of the oil prices with everything happening. Then the demand is going to come into the market. I think I've told you guys this thing before that sometimes when you look at the market, it feels like it's very scripted. Yeah, it feels like things happen just at the right time for it to align with the footprint you're seeing. So there's this very good demand here. You can see price have been keeping this liquid area here all through 2025. We stayed at about £60 per barrel of oil here, which is approximately the same thing on the US oil. I think is about 50, 53 or 55. The pound is more distant. So yeah, so that's 55 dollar per barrel of oil. We stayed around this level all through 2025 and 2024. I think 2023, 2024 at this level here. So I'm expecting that we get that sweep of this liquidity. There will be some sort of push, but this is still a very liquid area for this demand. So when they are done with all this their shenanigans, the demand is going to come back in. We see for the US oil, like I said, I'm looking at about $35 per barrel. But for the Brent, I'm looking at 40 $45 per barrel of oil for Brent. That is, sorry, 40 to 45 pounds per barrel of Brent, and 35 to 40 USD per barrel of the US oil. And then we'll see that demand come right back in from this level. Or God forbid, the worst case happens, we're going to see a crash. And if that happens, Nigeria is going to be in trouble because we're going to lose lots of money because of the oil demand is going to just keep sinking. Yeah. But that being said, that is like my total view of just a random view. I'll do better chart analysis and also a fundamental breakdown to why I expect prices to get to that level and send it to the group for those of us who would be interested. And this is going to be a long-term game. So you're going to want to pay attention to it and be patient with your entries and how you approach the US oil market. You're going to have to be very detailed in your fundamentals too as well. So that being said, that is all I have for my chart this week. As always, I don't like to trade too many things at the same time. I don't want to cloud my judgment. But I also believe that if we're looking at a stronger USD card, you also should be looking at a stronger AUD USD due to gold, even oil too. But if oil starts to shake or triple a little bit, you might start to see AUD USD get choppy. Let's just even look at it quickly. So AUD USD might get choppy due to the conflict between oil and the conflict between gold as well. Gold is rising, oil is sinking. So we may see very choppy markets or choppy situations too on the AUD USD. But we're just going to keep watching. I expect the AUD USD to sell off to this level here, this key level here, before any continuation of the buys. But I see that it's starting to react off this level, but I don't trust here. Because when you see this buy started from here, here, and they're all weak. They're all weak rejections. So weak rejection shows you some sort of, forceful push to the upside, meaning that a lot of people try to capitalize on the move severally. So meaning there are a lot of stops under this area. So what I'll be looking for is prices to, play on these stops before going up. And if it does go up from here, well, that's good. At the end of the day, I'm only trading what fits what I know and what sits best with me. Okay, so you don't have to force every trade just because you have similar idea with someone. If your entry requirement is different from theirs, it's okay. It's okay. For me, I always say it's okay to miss a trade than to lose money. Okay, except if you're in your beginner phase and losing money is part of those things that you need to do. But aside that, you don't need to force yourself to lose money. Sometimes just stay out of the trade for your own good. Okay, that being said, if you have any questions, guys, just leave in the top chats. We have just about 5 more minutes. I always want to leave the live sessions to about 40 minutes, except for during news sessions. And yeah, by the way, we might be trading CPI live this week, so prepare yourself, and I'll give you guys info on how to go about it. If you've been following and you understand, just leave a W in the chat and ask your question. If there's a question you want, or if there's something you want us to quickly look at, let me see if I can analyze that in less than 5 minutes for you guys. I should dive in a little on XAUUSD. What exactly about XAUUSD do you want me to dive into? Let's see. So we need to take out this. Okay. Someone said I should dive in. Possible continuation moves to the upside. Yeah, there's a possible continuation move to the upside. You see, one thing with gold is when gold breaks an all-time high, yeah, you never know when it's going to stop. So the best thing you can do is go like to a smaller time frame and then trade the trend on the smaller time frame. Just keep going up with it. But the most important thing, personally for me, one of the reasons why I don't like to chase the market when the market is at a high is you never know when it's going to be manipulated. But because there's a sentimental target around 5,000, it means that we're most likely going to see 5,000. But it's also a good place for you to be very manipulated by big banks, yeah, or like we call them, by big funds. So they can manipulate you easily, especially because they know now people will keep chasing the market. So you never know when that turn is going to happen. So personally, for me, I don't like to chase the market. I would like to take I like to take my buy trades from a lower position, not from an upper position. Yeah. But if you're good at the smaller time frame and you're very good at trailing your stop loss, sure, just keep scalping it as it's going up. That's the one thing that I know you can do if you know understand how to do it. Yeah. If you understand how to do it, that's the one way you should go about it. So continuation to the upside for the XAUSD is just going to keep going up. Okay. Guys, shout out to VD. Shout out to VD. VD is chief of media for RionFx. Shout out VD. All right, guys. So I would see you guys. Yeah, please don't forget to attend Valor Talks today by 2:30 p.m. I'll send the link to Valor Talks. We're going to be having it's a Valor Tax It's a Valortax podcast session. We're going to be having like experts on the call. We have Manesh on the call. Manesh has been trading for over 30 years. We also have Kaza on the call that has been trading for over 15 years. So please try your best as much as possible to be on Valor Talks this afternoon by 2:30 p.m. so that you will learn. We're going to be talking about New Year, new strategy. Is it really 18? Do you really think that you need to change your strategy every year? Or what exactly do you think should be the reason why you should have a new strategy in a new year kind of thing? So do please come and enjoy yourself. Someone is asking, what is your idea about prop firm this year? Since you mentioned we'll be looking into, yeah, we'll be looking into prop firm, but apparently we've seen 3 to 4 prop firms that have stood the test of time. And we have funding peeps, we have FTMO, we have funded next, and we have 5%ers. These are my top 4 prop firms. Yeah. And why that is so is they've proven themselves. So at the end of the day, we want to look for people that have proven themselves in payouts, in longevity, in being what's the word? Being consistent and also have a good customer support rapport their with their clients. Yeah. So you just don't want to be jumping from all these new prop firms, because at the end of the day, whether we like it or not, the prop firm business is kind of like a Ponzi business. Yeah. Yeah. Good funded. People have used good funded. Honestly, I personally have not used good funded. I just didn't pick interest in it. But I've used other prop firms like yeah, another good prop firm that I used last year was Neoma. Neoma. I was affiliated with them, but I just kind of got too busy. But I used Neoma. Neoma is very good. Spread size, customer surveys, payout is good too as well. So Neoma is another good one. It's upcoming. Yeah. So we're also going to be having an event for Neoma towards the end of this month. It's going to be a Twitter space. So I'm also going to invite you guys to that. But don't forget to be on Valor Talks this afternoon by 2:30 p.m. West African time. And I'll see you guys then. But until then, as always, it's Ryan for a reason, baby. And I'll be sending this analysis to the chat for you guys. So take care, guys. Cheers.